All right, so let's talk about the extra credit ones, which are the ones that were used to create that evidence. The first thing you have to do is get Android Studio Emulator running. This is a Google product that you can use to create a simulated Android phone. You can also write apps in it, but we're not doing that. We're just using it to make a simulated phone to research how it stores data and how we can recover data from it. So this is Android Studio launching. All right, let me put it in the right size. All right, move it down here. Okay, this is Android Studio, and you can see it's still working to get started, but it's there. All right, so in the middle you have an area where you can write apps and analyze apps, and we don't care about that. All we care about is over here, this thing called Device Manager. And when you start, it's shrunk down. You have to click this Device Manager to bring it to the front. And then you can create devices. And I'll just make a new one. Let me get my instructions here. So you install Android Studio, you launch it. You choose Google Pay is what I used in some list of activities. I don't know if that matters. And now we're going to create a device. So let me just stick this over to the side where I can refer to it while working. And let's get back into Android Studio. All right. So the device, you could use really any device, I think, but it's probably best to stick with this one, because the next step where we root the phone with an exploit, that doesn't work on every version of Android. So I know it works on this one, so it would be best to use this one. So I create a device, and I don't think it matters at all what hardware you use, but I used the Pixel 3a. This is just, you know, how much processor and RAM and such you have and how big the screen is. Then next, what really matters is which version of Android you use. And so I recommend using just this one, the 32 API 30, which is Android 11. That just happened to be one recommended in some tutorial I was following, and it did work with this jailbreak. They call it a rooting on an Android phone, but it really is a sort of hacking exploit we're going to use, and some of these are not covered. So if you've not done it before, you'll have to download it here first. I've already downloaded this one, so the download link doesn't appear. Then you go next. Now you could make a phone now, but it'll run better if you give it a little more storage. So go to Advanced Settings and turn up the storage to 4096. All right, and then finish, and it'll create a device, puts it at the bottom. So here's my Pixel 3a phone. And now you start it with just the start button. I hit it twice, so it tells me it's already running, because the first click it isn't obvious that it worked. And there's my phone. And I will not need to use Android Studio anymore, I think, at all. So my phone is here, and it's taking a little while to boot up, which is normal. Patience is good. Oh, there we are. It's booting up. All right, now while that's happening, let me take another look in Android Studio and point out something. If you go into Android Studio and you go up to the Tools bar that's off the projection, in the Tools menu, there's a thing called SDK Manager. And here it is. And your SDK Manager tells you where the software development kit is installed on your machine. This is important. You're going to need this path. And it's different on Windows than on the Mac. So copy that path, or I don't know if you can copy it, but anyway, it's Library Android SDK in my home directory, because it's a command line tool and we need to use it. And this is how you find it. So open a command prompt or terminal. All right, let me make it big. All right, and let's see if that copy worked. I'm going to CD to that location. The copy did work. So it's that path right there is this path here from Android Studio's SDK Manager. That's important. Otherwise, you can't find the ADB tool, which is what you need. All right. Now I think I'm actually done with this thing. We'll see. All right, so there's my phone. And here's my command prompt. All right, so I can run ADB here, devices, for example. And oh, that's right. It's not in the SDK directory. It's in the Platform Tools subdirectory. You cd into Platform Tools from there. And now you can run ADB devices. There we are. And if it works, you have ADB for Android Debug Bridge, and you're connected. Your device is connected. It's fixed up here, and Emulator is running. So this is good. So now I can get a shell on the phone with ADB shell. Now I have a command prompt on the phone. If I do ls, I'm seeing files on the phone, and here's that data directory, which is what I want. There's only two things we need to do on this phone. We're not really that interested in analyzing the internals of Android. What we want to do is copy data off the phone, but we'll do that in a minute. So anyway, just getting the phone working at all is all you need to do for this first project. So I'm going to stop this video and make a separate one for the next one.